Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're tackling something really practical.
Yeah, the assistant store manager role, right? It's a big one.
Exactly. And we're looking at it through, common interview questions for that position.
Ah, okay. Good angle.
Yeah, so whether you're maybe thinking about becoming an assistant manager or you work with one, or honestly, you're just curious about how stores actually run,
Hmm.
this should give you some real insight.
Definitely, because those questions, they're not just random, are they? Interviewers use them to get at the core skill.
That's the idea. Our
Yeah.
mission today is to unpack these questions, see what's behind them, what are they really asking?
And figure out what makes a successful assistant store manager tick.
Exactly. So let's dive in. First up, a really common one. What strategies do you use to motivate and engage employees?
Right. And motivation, well, everyone knows it's important,
Hmm.
but there's more to it, isn't there?
Like what's maybe less obvious?
Well, people often jump to like rewards and bonuses. And
Yeah.
yeah, positive reinforcement, constructive feedback, that's all crucial.
Sure.
But I think the question is also probing deeper. It's about how do you make employees feel like they own a piece of the store's success?
Okay, ownership. How do you do that?
It's about connecting their specific job, maybe stocking shelves or working the till, to the bigger picture. Why does it matter?
Ah, I see. So it's not just do this job, but here's how your job helps us all succeed.
Exactly, making it more intrinsic, not just about the paycheck or the occasional pizza party.
Right, right. And the question also mentioned addressing underperformance with support. What's the thinking there? Is it just about fixing mistakes?
I think it's more about seeing it as a chance to coach, to develop that person, not just you messed up.
Okay.
It shows you're invested in them, which, funnily enough, can be a huge motivator itself. It builds loyalty.
And that kind of supported team probably delivers better service, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. It all connects. Happy team, happy customers, better results.
Makes sense. Okay, next question moves to the customer. Describe a time when you had to handle a difficult customer situation. A classic.
Oh, yeah. Retail reality,
Mm.
right? Things go wrong. Customers get upset.
So what's the interviewer looking for beyond just, I calmed them down?
Well, staying calm and professional, that's like table stakes. Everyone expects that.
Uh,
What really makes a difference is showing you can first de-escalate effectively, but second, actually understand the root of their frustration.
get underneath the anger, kind of?
Yeah. And then find a solution that doesn't just fix the immediate problem, whatever it is, but also tries to, rebuild that trust.
Okay. Like the example in the notes, out of stock item, offer an alternative, maybe a voucher.
Right. That shows problem solving. But the deeper skill is turning that potentially really negative moment
Yeah.
into something that might actually make the customer more loyal in the long run because you handled it so well.
Hmm. Interesting. Turning a negative into a positive. How do you train a team for that, though? It feels like it needs more than a script.
Oh, definitely not scripts. They sound robotic. It's more about giving them a framework.
A framework.
Yeah, like tools for active listening, for
Yeah.
asking the right questions to figure out the real issue, and then empowering them to find solutions within certain guidelines.
So skills, not just rules.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe some role playing on different scenarios, different customer types, building their confidence in critical thinking.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears to the nuts and bolts. How do you ensure that store operations are running smoothly and efficiently? This sounds huge.
It is pretty broad, yeah. You've got staffing, stocking, merchandising, making sure you're following all the rules.
So beyond just having enough people and products, what does efficiency really mean here?
I think it's about looking at the whole workflow. Are there bottlenecks? Are people trained to do more than one thing so they can help out where needed?
Ah, like cross-training.
Yeah. And even like, how is the store laid out? Does it make sense for how people work and shop? Efficiency isn't just speed, it's minimizing wasted effort.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Back room, sales floor, everywhere.
Okay. And you mentioned systems, inventory checks, automated ordering. How does an assistant manager make sure those systems aren't just, busy work?
That's a great question. Because they can be.
Right.
The key is constantly checking if they're actually working. Are the inventory counts accurate and useful? Is the automated order predicting demand well? Or are we constantly overstocked or out of stock?
So analyze the data from the systems.
Exactly. Use the data, see if it's giving you real insights, and then tweak the system or the process if it's not. Don't just let it run on autopilot.
Right, like the example of using merchandising linked to promotions to boost sales, that's using operational stuff strategically.
Precisely. Connecting the dots between smooth operations and actual sales results.
Okay, moving on to people development. Explain your experience with developing and implementing employee training programs.
Important one. Got to keep the team skilled up.
What's a common mistake people make when setting up training?
I think a big one is making it too theoretical. Just, reading manuals or watching videos without applying it.
Yeah, you need the practical side.
Definitely. Good training blends the what and the why with the how. Hands-on practice, maybe real-life scenarios.
And how do you know if it's actually working?
Feedback. You have to monitor it. Are people actually using the skills? Is customer satisfaction going up? Is performance improving in that area?
So measure the impact.
Yeah. Don't just deliver the training and tick a box. See if it's stuck, and if not, figure out why and adjust the training. It's continuous improvement.
Makes total sense. Okay, the retail world changes fast. Next question. Are you familiar with the latest retail technology trends?
Tech.
Yeah.
Always changing.
So beyond the obvious stuff like e-commerce, what's a trend that's maybe quietly having a big impact in stores?
Well, something that's really powerful, I think, is how data analytics is being used to personalize the in-store experience. Think about it. Your point of sale system tracks purchases.
Hmm.
Maybe you have CRM software tracking interactions. Inventory systems know what's selling. You can use all that data, maybe with predictive analytics, to tailor recommendations, optimize staffing for busy times, even adjust product placement based on who's likely to be shopping.
So using data to make the physical store experience smarter, more relevant for individual customers.
Exactly. It's not just having the tech, it's about knowing how to pull insights from it and act on them. That's the key differentiator.
Right. Okay, let's talk security and stock. What is your approach to inventory management and loss prevention?
Crucial. Gotta have products to sell, but you also gotta protect those assets.
So obviously theft is a big part of loss prevention. What's a less obvious source of loss an assistant manager needs to watch?
Well, beyond the obvious shoplifting or damage, a huge potential loss comes from just inefficient inventory management itself.
Like
Things like food spoiling because it wasn't rotated properly,
Mm.
or having to heavily discount seasonal stuff because you ordered way too much based on a bad forecast.
So waste and poor planning.
Exactly. Even the time wasted looking for stock that's misplaced, that's a labor cost, a loss. So good inventory management isn't just about stopping theft. It's about minimizing all kinds of waste.
And the notes mentioned tracking returns carefully.
Yeah, that's vital. Are lots of people returning the same item? Maybe there's a quality issue you need to address with the supplier, or maybe the product description is misleading. Tracking returns can flag bigger problems.
Got it. Okay, back to people management. How do you handle scheduling conflicts between employees? Always tricky.
Oh, yeah. Balancing everyone's needs with the store's needs. It's tough.
What's the key principle there? How do you stay fair?
I think transparency and fairness are number one. Talk directly to the people involved. Try to understand why there's a conflict. Is it childcare? Another job? Health reasons?
So get the context.
Yeah, because understanding the why helps you find better solutions. You need clear policies, for sure, but sometimes you need flexibility, too.
Finding compromises.
Exactly. Finding a compromise that works for the employees involved and still ensures the store is covered and customers are served. It's a real balancing act. Shows strong team leadership if you can do it well.
Right. Okay, driving business. Tell me about a successful sales initiative you have led in the past.
Okay, showing you can actually boost sales.
Is it about how big the initiative was or something else?
I'd say the thought process and the results are way more important than the scale.
How so?
Like, did you actually understand a customer need you were trying to meet? What specific strategies did you use? Not just, we had a sale, but maybe targeted promotions or staff training.
Uh-huh.
How did you get the team excited about it? And crucially,
Mm.
how did you measure if it worked? What were the results?
So showing strategic thinking and proof of impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The example about targeting existing customers, maybe with special offers or samples, that shows a strategic approach, right? And tracking satisfaction alongside sales shows you're thinking long-term.
Got it. Strategic and measurable. Now, staying ahead of the curve. How do you stay informed about industry trends and developments?
You have to, don't you? Retail changes so fast.
What's a source of info that people might overlook beyond just reading the main retail news sites?
That's a good question. I think sometimes valuable insights come from slightly unexpected places, like online forums or groups where actual retail managers are talking shop, sharing what they're seeing on the ground.
Peer-to-peer learning, sort of.
Yeah. And even networking locally, maybe with businesses outside retail. Sometimes you get fresh ideas about customer service or marketing from totally different sectors.
Interesting. Don't just stay in your retail bubble.
Right. And the key is not just knowing the trends, like the example of the loyalty program based on competitors,
Uh,
but actually applying that knowledge,
mm.
taking action based on what you learn.
Makes sense. Okay, inevitable reality. Things break. Provide an example of a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a piece of equipment or software.
Happens all the time. POS system goes down right before closing. Nightmare.
So what does a good answer show here? Do you need to be a tech wizard?
Not necessarily a wizard, no, but it shows your problem-solving approach. Can you stay calm under pressure?
Okay.
Can you methodically try to figure out what's wrong, diagnose it, identify possible causes? Even if the answer is, I had to call the vendor, did you gather the right info first? Did you clearly explain the problem? Did you follow up?
So resourcefulness and a logical process.
Exactly. It shows initiative and that you won't just, give up when something technical goes wrong. You'll try to fix it or manage the process of getting it fixed. Minimize the disruption.
Got it. Okay, focusing on service again. We want to improve our customer service standards. What would you do to make this happen? Feels like a big... How would you approach this question?
It is. It's testing your strategic thinking on service improvement.
What's a really crucial first step that maybe gets missed sometimes?
I think before you jump into solutions, you need to figure out where you actually are right now. What are the current standards, really? What do customers think?
So assess the situation first, get a baseline.
Exactly. Maybe through customer surveys, looking at online reviews, maybe even secret shoppers. You need objective data.
Okay, find out where the gaps are.
Yeah. Once you know the starting point and the specific areas needing improvement, then you can set clear goals, talk to the team about why it matters, create a plan, maybe targeted training.
And then monitor it, presumably.
Absolutely. Track progress against those goals, get feedback. It's that continuous improvement loop again.
Right. Assess, plan, implement, monitor, adjust. Got it. Okay. Structure and rules. Describe your experience with creating and implementing policies and procedures for store operations.
The paperwork side, but essential for consistency and safety.
What's the secret to getting policies to actually stick? Not just sit in a binder.
Implementation. It's all about communication and buy-in, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. People need to understand why a policy exists. What's the purpose? Is it for safety, efficiency, customer experience? If they get the why, they're more likely to follow the what.
So explain the reasoning.
Explain the reasoning, maybe get feedback where it makes sense, and then this is key. Enforce it consistently. If rules only apply sometimes or to some people, they lose all meaning.
True. Consistency is crucial. Okay, how do you know if all this hard work is actually paying off? What metrics do you use to measure business goals?
Measuring success, obviously important.
Sales are the obvious one. What else gives a good picture? What's a metric that gives a more, maybe, holistic view?
Well, sales are vital, of course, but looking only at sales can be misleading. You also want to look at things like customer satisfaction scores, net promoter score, things like that.
Okay.
Employee turnover is a big one, too. Are you keeping your staff? High turnover costs money and often impacts service.
Good point.
And inventory shrinkage that reflects how well you're managing loss prevention and operations. So looking at a basket of metrics gives you a much better sense of the store's overall health.
Right, not just one number. And using software or data analysis to track this?
Increasingly, yes. Being comfortable with data is becoming really important for managers.
Okay, safety first. How do you ensure that all employees adhere to safety protocols?
Super important. Keeping everyone safe, staff and customers.
Is it more about having strict rules and consequences or something else?
Rules and enforcement are necessary.
Yeah.
Definitely. You can't compromise on certain safety standards. But I think creating a real culture of safety is much more effective long-term.
A safety culture, how do you build that?
Through ongoing training, that explains the why. Again, not just the rule. By doing regular checks where employees are involved in spotting hazards. By managers leading by example.
Making it everyone's responsibility.
Exactly. When safety feels like a shared value, not just a checklist, people are much more likely to be proactive and careful.
Makes sense. Okay, inevitably, complaints happen. How do you handle complaints from customers or other stakeholders? We touched on difficult customers. Is this different?
Similar principles. but maybe broader. Stakeholders could mean suppliers, community members, maybe even corporate folks.
Right. What's a really basic but effective technique for handling any complaint well?
Just actively listening.
Yeah.
Seriously. Let them get it all out. Don't interrupt.
Uh-huh.
Then maybe summarize back what you heard. Okay, so if I understand correctly, you're concerned about X and Y. It shows you are actually listening and trying to understand.
Validating that concern.
Precisely. That alone can often lower the temperature significantly. Then you can move towards finding a solution, staying professional, showing empathy.
Good advice. Simple but powerful. Now, something may be overlooked. What strategies do you use to set up an ergonomic workspace for employees? Seems small, but is it?
It might seem small, but it has a big impact, actually.
How so?
Think about it. Cashiers standing all day, stockroom staff lifting heavy boxes. Poor ergonomics can lead to injuries, pain, fatigue.
Which means more sick days, lower morale.
Exactly. And lower productivity. So thinking about adjustable chairs, proper desk heights, anti-fatigue mats, maybe training on safe lifting. It's an investment in your team's health and their ability to do their job well.
So it connects directly to performance and well-being.
Absolutely. Creates a better, safer, more efficient work environment.
Right. Okay, looking outwards now. Do you have any experience working with vendors or suppliers?
Can't run a store without them. Got to have those relationships.
What's a really key skill for managing those relationships successfully?
Communication, I'd say, is number one. Being really clear about your needs, your forecasts, delivery expectations,
Uh-huh.
and also listening to them, understanding their constraints or challenges. Negotiation skills are useful, too, for getting good terms.
Sure.
But fundamentally, it's about building a reliable professional relationship, treating them like partners, not adversaries. That usually leads to better service and helps solve problems faster when they inevitably crop up.
Building partnerships. Makes sense. Okay, building the team itself. How do you evaluate and select potential new staff members?
Hiring. So crucial to get right.
Obviously, you look at resumes, experience, but what else? How do you gauge if someone will actually be a good fit for your team and the store?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Skills are important, yes, but attitude and cultural fit are huge.
How do you test for that?
Well, behavioral interview questions can help. Tell me about a time when those give you insight into how they actually handle situations.
Okay.
And sometimes maybe having them interact with team members briefly, or even doing a short practical job simulation or a team activity during the interview process
Yeah.
gives you a feel for their interpersonal skills, their problem-solving style.
So looking beyond the paper qualifications to the person.
Exactly. Trying to find people who not only can do the job, but who will also contribute positively to the team environment.
Right. Skills you can often teach. Attitude,
Yeah.
much harder. Okay, navigating the rules again. What steps do you take to ensure compliance with local, state, and federal regulations? Seems daunting.
It can be. There are a lot of rules, labor laws, safety regs, product regulations.
So how does an assistant manager stay on top of it all? It must change constantly.
It does. You have to be proactive. Subscribing to updates from relevant government agencies or industry associations helps.
Okay.
Maybe attending webinars or training sessions specifically on compliance issues. And having access to legal advice, either through corporate or locally, is really important for tricky questions.
And checking your own store's practices.
Constantly. Regularly reviewing your internal policies and procedures to make sure they align with current laws. It's not a one-time thing. It's ongoing vigilance.
Right, making it part of the routine. Okay, last area. How do you keep track of employee performance and provide feedback?
Back to developing the team. Really important for growth and motivation.
What's a good way to give feedback that actually helps someone improve, rather than just making them feel bad?
I think the key is making it regular, specific, and balanced. Don't wait for the annual review to bring things up.
Timely feedback.
Yeah, and be specific, not just good job or do better, but I really liked how you handled that customer query because, or when this happened, the impact was X, maybe next time try Y.
So concrete examples and suggestions.
Exactly. And balance the constructive criticism with genuine recognition for things they do well. That keeps people motivated. Regular one-on-ones are great for this.
And tracking performance, using systems.
Yeah, having some way to track progress towards goals, maybe notes from coaching sessions. It helps ensure the feedback is fair and consistent over time.
Okay. So it's an ongoing conversation focused on growth.
That's the ideal. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, looking back at all these questions, it really paints a picture, doesn't it? The assistant store manager role is incredibly diverse.
It really is. You're juggling leadership, customer service, hardcore operations, finance, HR, tech, compliance. It's a lot.
This whole deep dive, digging into why these questions are asked, it really highlights just how many different hats they wear.
Absolutely. It shows it's not just about executing tasks.
Mm.
It requires real strategic thinking, people skills, problem solving,
Mm.
a very multifaceted job.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, all those skills, the leadership, the customer focus, the operational smarts, the adaptability,
Huh.
what single quality, if you had to pick just one, do you think is the most crucial, the most indispensable for an assistant store manager to really succeed in today's retail world?
Ooh, just one.
Well,
That's tough.
it's something for you, our listeners, to maybe chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.